What's going on, YouTubers, gamers and fellow hobbyists? Welcome to another episode of P and Q. I forget what episode we're on now. Episode 100 and... quite a bit anyway. I can't believe how long this series has been going. It's literally been going since the day I started doing YouTube. Well, maybe not the day I started doing YouTube, but since I started YouTube up, that week I did P&Q, so I'm very proud of this series. It's the question and answer series where you get to ask me questions or put comments to me, and then I respond to you the following week, which you can do one of 5 ways. Pop your comment or question down below. That's the most common way and one more often used than not. Or 2, you can email me at miniwarzone@gmail.com. There will be a link in the video description below, and that you will get an anonymous response. Ooh, excuse me. I've not long had a cup of tea, so forgive me. Or you can make a video yourself and ask a question on that, and if I see that and I want to deal with that here, I will do so. Or if we meet in person, which sometimes happens, and sometimes people that they're not even into wargaming or role-playing games or anything like that, and we just talk about stuff and they bring interesting topics up, and I respond to that here, and I know that some of them watch that as well. Or the social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, that's all the ones I'm on, as well as YouTube. And so that's it. Right, enough jibber jabber, let's get on with it. So the first question or comment comes from Rusted Beetle. And before I go on, I should say I've got these questions all spread out over 5 pages because YouTube is being an arse, not letting me convert back to the old style of YouTube. It's put me on this new version, and the option to go back to the old system has vanished, because normally I just click on that and I go back. It keeps putting me on this, and I don't know, printing out the questions, it's just, they're big. I know I could change the font size and all that, but I just can't be bothered with that. So there's what do you call it, a motivating factor to go to paperless, which is something I would like to do anyway. I've done it a couple of times in the past, and I want to go paperless anyway. I should just start, getting out the iPad and reading the questions from there, because it's so much better. Anyways, enough of that. Also, my printer toner is on its way out, so if I find a bit of difficulty reading certain bits, it's because it's not printing it very clearly. I've got a new one on order, so it should be okay to go sooner rather than later, I hope. Anyway, let's get on with it. So Rusted Beetle says, I don't know if this is the best video to mention this, Pete, but you talked about cyberpunk minis in one of your previous videos, and I just saw that the human interface Kickstarter still has late pledges open if you find that interesting for cyberpunk options. And there's a link to the Kickstarter site, I presume. Thank you so much for the information. I won't be following up that. I don't do Kickstarter. I'm not a fan of it. I know more than a few people that have gotten burnt by it and having to wait ages for their stuff. I'm not saying that's going to happen here, and it probably wouldn't, but it's just, I'm not one for waiting. I'm one for seeing something and buying it. There you go. Because by the time if I have to wait, by the time I get it, then my enthusiasm for it is probably long gone. I'm on to the next thing. So I've never done it, and I'm not feeling the urge to anytime soon. So yeah, it's just not for me, Kickstarter. But thank you anyway. I mean, when it comes off of Kickstarter, maybe, and you can just get it, from somewhere, I'll look at it then, and then and only then. But thanks for your comment. Right, Frost and Fists is the next one, from Wolf Brother Mythos. He says, awesome episode once again, my brother. I always enjoy listening to this series. I just wish I could remember to come back and leave a question after I've listened more often. That's okay. Happens. Life, For next week, what hobby skill would you consider your signature move? Example, some people feel that their power weapon effects or their non-metallic metals or the way they paint faces, etc. are part of their signature look. What would you say is yours? Keep up the awesome, my friend Wolf Brother Mythos. What would be my signature move? I don't know. I've always felt stone effect is my signature Yeah, stone effect is my signature move. I'll put a link up there to my stone effect tutorial if I remember. If not, go look it up. Yeah, on my tutorials. I know it's not particularly hard to do. Excuse me, I've got an itchy nose. I know it's not particularly hard to do, but stone effect, that's the one I kind of go to. I enjoy doing. It's when I'm doing it, I think, yeah, this is my stone effect. This is the way I do it. And yeah, I'm not great at faces. Although I'm getting better, I'm starting to get better. I'm improving in certain areas. Obviously, when you start out in the hobby and you start to improve, well, I've personally, from my experience, I started to improve quite rapidly, and I noticed the improvements on a faster scale than it is now. It's kind of slowed down, and it's because you get in your comfort zone, I think, and it's always good to get out of the comfort zone. And look at my bags. Oh, stretch my eyes up. So I haven't been sleeping much lately. Anyway, yeah, that's my signature move, stone effect. This is crazy. It's like a sheet question. Anyway, Paint with Penny is next. Says another good video. Thank you. It's funny you say about the milk shortage, which I was talking about last week with the snow and everything, and things here or down here seem to be more or less back to normal now, I'm happy to say and happy to report. Yeah, so it's funny you say about the milk shortage. I was out on Friday looking for milk, and it was so hard to come by. Eventually I found a shopkeeper who'd gone out of his way to go to Asda to buy some to resell to his public. As it turned out, I'd done the most awesome but accidental thing ever. About 2 weeks ago, I had bought some coffee whitener. Now, the reason I bought this was that I sometimes run out of milk. For example, when I work late and the shops aren't open at midnight after I finish. So, if I couldn't get milk due to the snow... Sorry, this is where the printer toner's running out here. I would have been okay. You mentioned rationing, and that's what I thought. What I also found the next day was that some shops had put up their prices. One shop doubled the price of milk, which I find disgusting. So, there may be a few Facebook groups going up naming and shaming them. Well, we can only hope. I still don't use Shell petrol from when they put an extra 50p on a litre of petrol during the petrol shortage in the early 2000s. Yeah, I can remember that because I was working at Orange at the time. You know, Orange, I don't think they exist anymore. They're called, what are they called, E now or something? You know, the mobile phone company. But I worked at Orange, and that was when the fuel crisis was on. And we made jokes about the company buying us. This is, I don't know, it's got nothing to do with anything, but there was a big joke about the company should provide us with space hoppers to get to work on. Yeah, that was a thing. You had to be there. Although I wouldn't recommend it. Okay, Alex Attempts Tabletop is next. So thanks for your question and comment anyway, Penny. Oh, that's not... Well, there was something on my paper there. It's part of the toner. It's gone all weird. Alex Attempts Tabletop says, thanks for the response, man. Insightful and interesting. Talking about books, what advice would yourself or other half give to someone who wanted to write short fantasy stories? Thanks again. My advice is just do it. Just do it. Just write it. And don't worry about having to get every sentence, pitch perfect before you move on to the next one. Just get it out there. Then go back and polish it up. Just write it. As for my other half, Mrs. Mini Warzone, she says her advice is write the stories you want to read. Write what you want to read. That will give you hopefully some good basis for starting to write. So thanks for your question. What are we up to? 9 minutes 34. This is going to be a short one, I think. I'll try and not bore you to tears, but I'll try and eke it out a little bit. No, don't do that. They're saying no. Get on with it. All right, I'll get on with it. Cruonge the Silicus. Nice P&Q, Pete. What piece of hobby equipment could you not do without? Wow. What piece of hobby equipment could I not do without? Good question. Do you know, that's a really hard one. Hobby equipment. Does the studio count as part of my equipment? I personally couldn't do that. I mean, you could. I suppose there's no one thing that you couldn't do without. Like, yeah. And I consider YouTube as part of my hobby. So that side of it, you know, you could say, oh, I couldn't do it without a camera, but you could. You take still photos and still make videos, or you could use your webcam or your phone. I could say my computer, couldn't do it without my computer, but I could go up to the library and upload and edit my stuff there if I wanted to. Not that I would want to, because it'd just be a drag, but it's possible. I could say my brushes, or I don't think there is any one thing that I couldn't do without. I think brushes for me would be the main one. Yeah, I could do some stuff with an airbrush, you know, to a certain extent, and I could play with crappily painted tabletop standard games by using just an airbrush. But I'll say brushes, because that's what gives me my most I get the most use out of. Yeah, that's an intriguing one. I mean, glue, I could say glue, because I can't glue the models together without the glue. But as a more of an overview, I would say my studio is what I couldn't do that, because that's my sanctuary, the place where I go to recharge my brain and relax and feel good and lose any anxiety or worries I may have about the world. So yeah, I'll say my studio. Intriguing question. Right, Black Country Wargaming is next. Black Country Wargaming. So your new channel. So everybody go and check out Black Country Wargaming. It says, I have 2 questions, mate. 1. Do you think you should only be allowed to subscribe to a certain number of channels, like say 100? And 2, if you had to pay to watch YouTube and upload to YouTube, would you still use the platform? Is there any more to this question? No, that's it. Right. Okay, so do I think I should only be allowed to subscribe to a certain number of channels, like 100? That's intriguing. I would say no, because it depends then on the target. I mean, I'm subscribed to about 400, I think, or 350 to 400 channels. And a lot of people say, well, you can't watch all those, you can't. But it's surprising, I do find time. I don't watch stuff regularly, but then a lot of them don't put out content enough to worry about it. Like some channels, you know, my channel puts out videos quite regularly, so, you know, nearly every day. So, you know, but then some channels only put out a video like once a month or once every few months. You know, I can keep up. It's not a problem. So I'm going to say no. Just on that fact. I mean, if it's like say 500 channels or 1,000 channels, then yeah, I think there should be a cap on that, to stop, I don't know, people creating channels to subscribe to their mates or whatever, just for the heck of it. or I think people get caught up on that. I got caught up on subscriber count before they made the changes as to how many subscribers you need and how much watch time you need and all that. I did get caught up a bit on the numbers then. I think I was panicking for nothing though, but so yeah, I'm going to say no to your first question, unless it's quite an exceptional number, like 1,000. I would say cap it at 1,000. Number 2, if you had to pay to watch YouTube and upload to YouTube, would you still use the platform? That sounds like something they probably will do in the future. Who knows? If it was just to pay to watch YouTube, yes, I would still use it. If it was pay to upload, I'm not so sure. I mean, I could use there are other platforms out. I think YouTube is the biggest and the best. Because I mean, YouTube really is second only to Google, and Google own it. So I think YouTube is the best platform to put videos on. Although, that said, I would, if the worst came to the worst, I would I'd host my website and host my videos on there on whatever server, because if I'm paying to upload to YouTube anyway, I might as well do it for my own website, maybe, because yeah, why not? I'd still have a YouTube channel to kind of promote that as well. I think it would work hand in hand. So yeah, if I had to pay to watch YouTube, just that, and not pay to upload, I'd still use it. But if I had to pay to watch and to upload, I'd probably look for another platform. If I had to pay to upload but not to watch, I'd probably still use it. I'd look for another platform, but not as seriously as if it was the other way around. Does that make sense? Yeah, it's a great question, Carl. Great question indeed. And the last question I have here comes from IdicBeer40k, who says, "Nice video, Pete. Star Trek for the win. I know you talk about moving sometime in the future. How far away in the future is that going to be? How will you cope losing Mini Warzone?" Well, I'll work backwards on that one. How will I cope losing Mini Warzone? Well, I won't lose it. I will always have a studio of at least the same size or bigger. My mind is always go bigger and better. So yeah, so I wouldn't be losing anything. How far away in the future is that? I don't know. I honestly don't know. It may have to wait until after we've finished paying our mortgage on this house, which isn't that far away actually. So I don't know. I don't know the future. It's unlikely I'm going to win a huge amount of money anytime soon, but you never know. Never say never. But I would say, I don't know, maybe within the next 10 years. So that's quite a way off, isn't it? But it's not really when you think of it. It's just, 1 decade. I mean, I still think of the 90s as fairly recently. It's nearly 20 years ago. Well, yeah, it's nearly 20 years ago. Yeah, so yeah, I can't say exactly, but I think maybe within the next 10 years, I mean, we've seen the place we would like to move to, and if we couldn't move there, because at the moment it's a holiday let, and if we couldn't buy that one, we'd be looking for something very, very similar. My wife wants to live by the sea. She always wants to live by water. She has an affinity with water, and that's fine with me, whatever. I don't want to be too I don't want to be too, I don't know, encroached by like city life, but I don't want to be too far away from it either. But I don't want like people on top of me. I like my space. I want lots of space, lovely garden, because my garden would certainly help me in the summer when it would be one of my other hobbies as well. I think because gardening, I was quite keen on gardening, not that great at it, but I was very interested in it. Got a lot of books on it, and spent many happy hours in the garden, gardening away, before I got into wargaming and miniatures and all that kind of thing. So yeah, anyway, that's that. Thank you for your question. Keep those questions coming, people. I enjoy answering them and reading through them. And keep on being awesome. Remember, all brushes lead to war. And I'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.